right, everybody. We're here. The moment is here. The moment has arrived, okay? Another episode of Games Tribune now. I'm not even going to wait. We're not even going to get prepped. We're going to get started. Get ready for the intro, everybody. It's going on in just a moment. We have a great guest for you tonight. So let's fucking get started, okay? Why don't we?
From the heart of Philadelphia, gaming capital of the world, broadcasting across the nation, live around the world, even throughout the cosmos, it's the Games Tribune now! And at the helm, the only host you'll ever need, upper echelon gamer, Tribune!
Thank you, everybody. How are we doing tonight? How are we feeling, everyone? Give it up for the band, folks. Another episode. We're here. How are we doing? What a wonderful time. We've got a great guest for you tonight. But before that, there's a couple things we want to talk about. Any fans of Final Fantasy here? Yeah? They got the Memoria project. Have you heard about this? An Unreal 5 engine remake, again, of Final Fantasy IX recently showed off a 25-minute gameplay demo. It's a collaborative effort by a group of dedicated fans and developers and artists who share a deep love and appreciation for Final Fantasy IX. There's actually 43 of them. Can you believe that? 43 people on this team. There's people that they have diverse backgrounds. There's people from Sony, Blizzard, Riot, Sucker Punch. It truly goes to show you that you can spend over 2 years of hard work with talented individuals to make a product that is kind of better than the first 2% of a 23-year-old original. Capcom asks fans which Resident Evil remake they would like to see next in a completely boring move. That's the nail in the coffin, people. They've given up making games and instead decided to continue ruining the existing good ones. It would be like if DeWalt remade the Screwdriver, but it was bigger, didn't work as well, and then people on Twitter sexualize it constantly. Okay, come on. You guys hear about this one? Any Cyberpunk fans in here? Cyberpunk 2077 sequel will enter development in 2024, we just found out, which means it will release and be playable in 2032 and will be functioning by 2034, baby. Come on. Yeah, for the Cyberpunk fans out there. Here's something near and dear to my heart. Nick Merckx recently got his operator bundle removed from Call of Duty for tweeting out some real dumb shit. As usual, a father of 1 month suddenly cares about children. This is like when Christopher Reeves started a spinal cord research foundation after he got very justifiably bucked by a horse. I mean, I hate Activision, but I hate straight white men more. So shout out to that cretinous company for 1 second of supporting Pride. Nick Merckx has a Monster Energy tattoo on his soul. We need to stop taking opinions of gamers seriously. Nick Merckx failed Algebra 2, okay? He's not qualified to speak. He got popular from getting good at Gears of War 2. If I need an opinion about competitive balance of the Lancer, I'll ask him. Until then, shut the fuck up! What I'm talking about. Fuck you, Nick Merckx. Let's take a moment for a new segment titled Elite Reviews, baby. Come on! New segment. We love this. Let's read a little bit of a Diablo 4 review I found from Metacritic user Hellbard. ActaBliz, they say, ahead of its time, create a new monetization method, the pay-to-pay, where you pay for a full premium price to get a ripped-off game and then pay even more for battle passes to get the full product. Garbage game from a garbage company. Couldn't have said it better myself, Hellbard. We got one more from ZipZ. A fat, hollow, taxidermied corpse of the Diablo franchise rushed out to the masses to desperately milk as much cash from its customers as possible while delivering a truly embarrassing product. Soulless, empty, broken, greedy, baby. We love it. I love when people agree with me on fucking Diablo 4. You hit the nail on the head, folks. So shout out to these guys for their elite reviews on Metacritic. Finally, one more little thing. In New Bedford, Massachusetts, cops recently busted a drug trafficking operation that used Pokemon art cases to ship cocaine sourced from Puerto Rico. Nintendo took this opportunity to release their first new Pokemon since Scarlet and Violet. Crack Rabbit and Coke Toad, baby. Come on! talking about. That was a good one. We're having some fun tonight. All right, guys, we got a wonderful guest. I'm super excited. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. Great streamer. They're good at talking. Can't wait to get him on here. So everybody, on your mark, give it up. All right, everybody. Give it up. Shut the fuck up, Isaac. Give it up. He's in here.
Yeah, see?
Oh, wow. 2 guests tonight. I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah. See? So. Woo!
Okay, that didn't happen. We're going to forge ahead.
Yeah.
How we doing tonight?
Dude, I'm having a great time. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming on. So let's get right into it, dude. You're a gamer.
Yeah.
How'd you start gaming? How'd you start gaming? What's your first game?
My first ever game was Pokemon Yellow on the Game Boy Color.
How old were you?
Oh, dude. I don't even know. I was probably 4 or 5.
That's
I
early.
remember getting in trouble a lot. I would bring it with me. I would play it in class. I got kicked out of school for just using it all the time.
Yeah, that's elite. That's the sign of a true gamer.
Committed to the cause.
Gaming over everything from day one.
100%.
So, and you're a big Pokemon fan still?
I am. I got my Pikachu.
You want to show it off?
N64, my Pikachu tattoo. Yeah, I'll show it off.
Let's show the people.
Yeah, we'll start with the console and then move on to the tattoo.
Okay.
So right here is my Pikachu N64. My wife got it for me a little while ago as a gift. It's pretty sick. His foot is the reset button. And this is a Japanese only console, so I can only play my Japanese games on it. But yeah, I got a sick collection of N64s.
You have Japanese N64 games?
Yeah, I actually have one right here in box. It's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time N64. So a lot of people don't know is that they have different cover art in the English and Japanese releases. So if I pull this out of the box, we got the cool box art on the back, the cool box art on the front. We got the we got the manuals and everything in there, but the coolest thing in my opinion is the silver and black art right on the
That's a great one.
Cartridge.
Do you like that art better than the regular Ocarina of Time?
Nah, man, something about the gold just does me justice.
So
I love it.
So why do you get something like that? Just because you like to collect the items, you think they're interesting, or just being a gamer, it sticks out to you, something like that?
It's a little bit of everything. Obviously, like this was one of the first games I got on the N64. After the Game Boy, it was the N64 was my next console, and this was the one I played the most. And it was Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64. Earthworm Jim for some reason, and then
classic
after that was Majora's Mask. So I mean, Zelda's like probably my favorite Nintendo IP. So everything that's got to do with Zelda, I try to get.
Oh, interesting. So and I wouldn't have guessed. I haven't seen you really dip into the Zelda field too much yet. But so how long have you been streaming now?
Streaming?
Yeah.
Coming up on 6 months, I think,
okay.
right now. Yeah. I didn't really start streaming like on a schedule or more seriously up until 4 weeks ago though.
Okay.
So
and then 4 weeks ago you started with a little project, is that right?
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the project is the Roguelike 30. I'm playing a new roguelike game every single day, or every single day that I stream for 30 streams. And we're about halfway through it right now. And the reason I started it was because before that I was just doing Hades speedruns. That's like my bread and butter. Hades is the probably game I've sunk the most hours into in the last like 3 or 4 years, which is not to say it's a ton. It's only like 200-300 hours, but most of that time has been speed running because it's just such an addicting game to play over and over and over again. And it was my first roguelike, and during some of my speed running streams somebody popped in. Am I good at it? No, of course not. I am second page, right around the middle.
You don't have to be good at the speedrun. You just have to do it.
You just have to do it. You just have to have a very deep hatred of yourself and a desire to really suffer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great game. The speedrunning community is super cool. And yeah, somebody popped into my chat, started suggesting a ton of roguelikes because I've never played any other than Hades. And I was like, dude, if I like Hades, odds are there's at least one in here I'll like. So we hit the ground running on it.
Yeah. And so I jumped in. You were playing Slay the Spire. That was how I happened upon you, a favorite of mine. And you've played since then still already Darkest Dungeon. You played Inscription. You've played Dead Cells, Enter the Gungeon. You've played a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite probably Spelunky 2 as a top one.
Spelunky 2 is definitely a game that I played.
Yeah, I told you not to play it. I did say that Spelunky's a bad
You warned
game.
me, but I had to take my lumps.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way of the world, baby. You gotta figure it out. So, how many more? What's the next one that you're streaming? Do you have a game lined up?
Next one is so we got 3 that we're looking at.
Okay.
One is Monstrum, which is a horror survival game set on a on a freight boat in the middle of the ocean. So the things are constantly shifting. And it's the first horror survival 3D roguelike I've ever seen or heard of.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. Crab Champions, which is it's got roguelike elements. It's very fun. You play as a crab, you shoot people. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And last but not least is Atomicrops. And that's very exciting. It is by far the weirdest thing I've ever heard of, which is a bullet hell farm simulating roguelike. Yeah.
I played Atomicrops a little bit. It's pretty good. It's a pretty standard roguelike, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. I like it. It is weird. It has some weird elements to it though. But so when is the next upcoming stream? You have a schedule for these next ones?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
so
tomorrow. Okay.
I'm every single week I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 1 p.m. to however long I can keep going.
Yeah.
Usually originally the streams were 4 hours long. Now they're getting closer to 6.5, 7 hours because I just don't know when to quit.
He's got that gamer spirit.
Yeah, no, it's called stubbornness.
Yeah.
It's I had to put it in a word.
Or as Michael Jackson would say, don't stop till you get enough, actually.
Absolutely.
That's how I play. Isaac, I'm not gonna ask him that, but unless actually, you know what? You just ate Popeyes the other day. What's your opinion on the new limited edition Ghost Chili Wings?
I haven't tried them yet, but Popeyes is my favorite chain fried chicken.
We sound like we're fucking
flat.
Lil Nicky over here. You know how much Popeyes they put in that movie?
I am a Popeyes shill. If Popeyes wanted to sponsor me, I would immediately jump on it just for the free chicken. They wouldn't even need to pay me.
I would too.
How much is Popeyes paying us for this?
Us.
Yeah, no, they promised that they might give us 50% off a chicken tender.
Yeah,
so
I'm down with it though.
Talk about survival of the volcano box.
We're not taking, we're not doing any more food. This is not a food podcast.
You know, I'm heavy on the Taco Bell lore.
So another thing, you spoke of Hades speedrunning. And
yes.
So after the roguelike 30, is that your next venture?
I have a few things going on after the roguelike 30.
Yeah, well, let's get started with the Hades event.
Yeah. So Hades, like I said, it's my bread and butter, and it might not even be after the roguelike 30. It might be during the next few weeks.
Oh, okay.
I am putting on the biggest Hades speedrunning tournament in history.
You heard it here first,
largest
folks.
Prize pool. The largest prize pool of any Hades speedrunning tournament so far. I'm hoping it's going to have a lot of reach. We're trying to get some other speedrunners in to join us in the commentating. And this is a joint venture between me and Ryan Malia. Very, very excited for it. I can't say too much because, not everything's set in stone. But right now we're shooting for closer to the end of July, beginning of August as the date for it. And it will be open qualifiers. So anybody who wants to can submit a run to be considered for one of the top 8 slots to join the tournament.
When would you have to submit this run by, and where to?
We will have an open qualifying weekend, and it'll be 1 or 2 weeks before the tournament date.
So if someone wanted to be involved in this that's listening right now, or that we reach out to in the future, how would they get involved with something like that? Who should they look to find out when they should be participating?
So first and foremost, me. If you want to follow me, I'm going to talk about it on stream. I will be tweeting out about it with all of the dates and everything, and I'll be talking about it constantly. Once everything is fully set up and done, I will be blasting this everywhere that I can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
I'll be blasting it on the Hades subreddit. I'll be blasting it on Twitter. I'll be putting out a TikTok about it. I'll be hitting up the official Hades Discord and the Hades Speedrunning Discord.
Cool. You got my official stream. We'll talk about it. I'll retweet you. I'll do whatever I can to support it. I love the idea. I want to see it succeed. I love what you're doing. So let's get involved. I might even sign up.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see it, man.
I don't do speed
We'll put it in there.
I'd have to start.
The
practicing.
goal is while the qualifiers are running, if people are streaming their qualifier attempts, I'm gonna be watching on stream.
Cool. I've never done it before. So what category is it?
For the speed runs,
yeah.
we're going for unmodded,
Okay.
any percent, any heat.
Okay.
So you go in there, you just run it as fast as you can. No mods available. You can put whatever heat you want on the oh god, I don't even know what it's called, on the tower before you enter.
Yeah.
You can go up. The standard is 9 heat. There is a standard. If you want to join the Hades speedrunning Discord, it's got everything you need to learn the speedrunning basics.
Okay.
I'll tell you the truth. If you wanted to learn, Hades is a very accessible game to learn how to speedrun, especially with the build that I like to use.
Now, this is something I personally have a hard time getting my information from Discord. I don't like joining the Discord things. You have to sift through a lot of info, look at pinned messages. Is there any other wiki or something like that you have access to for that?
So speedrun.com, if you go to Hades, there should be a tab for resources, and that will also have everything. And that includes Google Docs. There are YouTube videos.
Oh, perfect.
The community's been all over the place, man. There's info everywhere you want to look.
That's awesome. Yeah, Hades sounds like one of the more accessible ones that I've heard of.
100%.
I've dipped my toe into a couple speedrunning games as I thought about doing it, and they've all been very difficult. It was like the first roadblock was, what do I do? How do I even begin? And when you have to go to a Discord and the only person that knows how to do this trick or whatever is just some guy, and it's like you don't know how to access it. So knowing that you can go on speedrun.com and go to Hades and find everything there, that's wonderful news for me personally to hear. I hope other people out there will like that as well.
100%. Oh, and to answer one of the questions in chat, yeah, it is any aspect, any weapon, any aspect for these submissions.
Cool. Now, can I cheat?
No.
Okay. I
will find out. We are manually reviewing each VOD that gets submitted.
Okay, well, you gotta ask, okay? You gotta ask. You never know. So you have Hades coming up, and then that's entering the end of the roguelike 30 or mingling with it. And then after the Hades tournament, what do you have going on after that?
So we got a few things coming up. The goal was, this one's a little bit in the air still. I'm deciding between a Metroidvania month, a month where I play nothing but Metroidvania games, start to finish. Let's see how many we can knock out in a month. Or Metal Gear Solid month, where we play through every game in the Metal Gear Solid franchise as quickly as we can over the course of a month. See how if we can get through the main series at least.
I was about to say, because you're not going to play... You're not going to play Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2.
No. That's the Solid series is the goal. So Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, 3. Yeah. We'll see if we can get past those 3. Yeah. But those are the ones on the docket. After that, it's Souls Timber, where I'm going to start visiting different Souls games. Because my first ever Souls game was Elden Ring. And then I played a little bit of Demon Souls, but that's it. I don't have
That's a really interesting pathway into the genre.
Yeah, it's it was interesting to say the least. But
like Elden Ring did bring a lot of people into that realm of the game. It was way more accessible to a lot of people we talked about.
So I had no idea that Souls-like was a category in and of itself, because I didn't know anything about Dark Souls. The first time I tried playing a Souls-like game was like 4 or 5 years ago with Dark Souls 3. I jumped in, the first boss beat the shit out of me. I was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with this game? I can't even play it. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll pick it up tomorrow. Never touched it again. And then I realized, it's supposed to be hard. And I'm like, well, maybe next time.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's for sure. Yeah. 3 is also a tough one to start with. For like most people that like it a lot, you start with 1. I will ask that. You start with 1. You're like, this game's too fucking tough. You can't figure it out. But by the time 3 rolls around, you're like, you know what you're used to. And so like going in there, it's like you're getting the experience of 1, but like later on, where they're like, oh, you should know, so we're gonna make it harder and shit like that. So Dumpster Donuts wants to know what kind of conditioner you use for your Mac.
Kind of conditioner I use, man. These last few days, I've been beating the dog shit out of my hair. I have not been taking good care of it.
Hell yeah. Perfect answer.
Yeah, so
he is a gamer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, when the pretty boy time comes up, I'd like to use whatever my wife buys because it makes me soft and pretty. Yeah. But if I'm being a scumbag, it's Head and Shoulders and then
You sound like Troy Polamalu, dude.
Pantene or whatever
You
just
kinda
is
look
around
like
the
him,
cheap
too.
stuff.
You kind of look like Troy Polamalu.
Do I?
You a football fan?
No,
You
I'm
don't know what
not.
I'm talking about? We'll have to get somebody.
No.
Give me a picture of Troy Polamalu. I could throw up here. He's like Samoan or something, but so we got Souls Timber, we've got Metroidvania month potentially, we've got the potentially Metal Gear Solid month,
and then Spooktober follows.
Spooktober after that. You're doing some horror games.
Yeah. I think that is by far the one I'm probably the most excited for because I'm not a huge horror game enjoyer, but I think that's what makes it fun to watch and play. I am very scared.
Yeah,
I yell a lot. I start shaking, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I get deeply immersed, and then I become overcome with fear.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I sort of freeze up, and so it's probably fun for people to watch, maybe.
So a fun fact, I actually, when I was in high school, I think it was Outlast had just come out, or some other horror game had just come out, and I was at a party, and everybody was like, "Oh, dude, you guys want to play this new horror game?" And I was like, "No." Dude, honestly, it might have been Slender Man.
Oh, wow.
And it scared the shit out of me, dude. Everybody turned the lights off. I was like, all right, Kev, you go. Everyone's standing behind me, and I'm like, I don't, guys, I don't know what to do. Guys, this is freaking me the fuck out. Please stop. Please don't make me do it.
Yeah.
Don't make me do it. Anyway, the Slender Man finally showed up. I screamed like a little girl, and I got laughed at for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
It didn't. Yeah, thankfully it was only 2 weeks.
Yeah. I'm afraid of Slender Man as well.
Yeah.
I like getting scared though, so. And I don't know if he's like pulls his blouse up like he just saw a little rat running by.
Pretty much, yeah. I jump on a chair, I start screaming.
Yeah. So I have to mention this. I forgot to say that I'm actually next month, like week 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing actually a Spook week, and then I'm gonna be running Metal Gear in a week, and then I'm in the next week after that I'm gonna be doing.
Oh, that's
Souls.
awesome!
No, I'm joking. It's just
I was about to say, dude, that sounds so hype.
So okay, now here's the big question. One of my favorite things. I want to get back to doing this, but a while back, me, Isaac, a couple other people, we did our best games of all time draft, and I want to know what do you think is the best game of all time? You can give me a 1, 2, 3 if it's. This isn't set in stone, but it's also not what's your favorite. What do you think is the best game ever made?
Not my favorite.
Not your favorite, but what is the best game ever made?
This is tough, man.
Yeah.
This is a tough
Take a
one.
second. If it helps, I can give you what I put as my 1 and 2, I think.
Let me hear it.
My 1, I still remember, is Super Mario 64. I put as my 1.
Wow,
it's the best game
really?
of all time. Yeah. I think it had a huge impact.
3D
The every Mario game is good, right? But going from 2D to 3D, like they had a lot to do, and they nailed it. And people are still playing it to this day. It still holds up pretty well. The controls are a little clunky, but like a lot of the tenets of the game are still there. So I think it was like pretty revolutionary in the 3D world, and it honestly, like, it increased, but you could still see the skeleton of Mario 64 and the other Mario games. Yeah, and Isaac's right. One of the biggest, I think it's the biggest speedrun game ever. Has the most people speedrunning it at one time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game.
Yeah.
I love watching Mario 64 speedruns.
So just with that was my 1. I don't know if that helps you maybe pick something.
I was considering putting that up there as well. It's definitely one of my top 3, or one of the games I consider to be the top 3. I
might be able to find what the other people's ones are if you still need a moment to mull it over. Isaac,
okay.
You remember Isaac's was Final Fantasy VI, which is crazy.
That's an interesting choice.
Isaac picked. We did a top 5. Isaac had 4 Super Nintendo games on his list, which is awesome. Someone picked Ocarina of Time, and I don't have Tats listed here, and I think he won actually, so I can't even remember.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm ready. Top 3, no particular order.
But you have. We'll get. I'm gonna get an order out of you. But go ahead.
We'll get. Yeah, you'll get an order out of me. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Wow.
Mario 64.
Love it. Okay.
And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Those are all good picks, honestly. I like it a lot. Get out of those 3. What's number 1? Give me a 1 out of them.
Dude, it's tough.
Put 1 up there. I like the 3, but you gotta give me just a 1.
All right. This one's gonna be kind of crazy. I think it is Mario 64. I think I have to give it to Mario 64 for number 1.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Dude, Kingdom Hearts 2 is incredible.
It's a pick.
Kingdom Hearts
sure.
2 is a mind-blowing game. It was the most ambitious crossover of all time before Marvel took that.
I think it still is. Marvel's one is whatever.
Hey man, it's a bunch of superheroes. Is it a duck that turns into a squid and starts singing underwater? Think about it. Think about it.
Okay, now we got that out of the way. What is your favorite game of all time? Is it Hades?
Ah, man. It isn't Hades.
No?
Hades is my favorite. Dude, it's tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Hades is in a tie for my favorite game of the last 3 years, or not even 3, the last like 6 years, with Persona 5. All time, though, it's not my favorite. All time, I gotta look back here. I don't have to look back there. It's Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is what, like, Pokemon Yellow was my intro into playing games. Ocarina of Time is what got me into gaming for my life, like for the rest of my life. I probably wouldn't have jumped into it so heavily if it wasn't for Ocarina.
Yeah. I mean, Ocarina of Time is a wonderful game. It's my favorite Zelda. I think it's such a fantastic game. I love that pick. So
yeah,
I have fond memories of playing it since the day it came out. And I recently just played it again when they put it on the Switch online thingy or whatever.
Yeah.
I bought it so I could play it on my Switch.
And it's an incredible game.
Switch online thingy. That's a good pick. Oh, I love it. What about your favorite Pokemon game?
Oh, dude. Pokemon Diamond.
I don't think I ever played Diamond. Which generation?
Gen 4. So that's Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig.
I definitely didn't play Diamond. Wait, hold on. Maybe I did. Diamond was... What were the other games that came out with it?
Diamond and Pearl.
Okay, I didn't.
And Platinum.
I think what was the one before that? Ruby?
Ruby,
That's where I stopped for a while. I stopped at Ruby and then I picked it up again at Shield.
My starters for every gen. My starter, number 1 for Yellow, is obviously Pikachu. Starter for Red and Blue was Charmander. After that was Cyndaquil, and then after that was Piplup.
Yeah, you lost me here.
I didn't keep up with the games
Pokemon.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in and out after that for a few years.
I couldn't even tell you the starter that I took in Shield, and that was the most recent one I played.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what I picked for Scarlet, and I played it like 3 months ago.
Yeah, they're I'm not sure if I love the way. I mean, I liked Shield a lot. But I feel like I shouldn't be talking on it because I felt like a lot of dedicated Pokemon fans weren't happy with it. So I'm what I usually complain about when I like a certain type of game and then they make it accessible to a ton of people and everyone's like, wow, I really like this. And I go, well, they fucked up this feature and this feature and this feature. And then it flipped for Pokemon where I never play. I picked up Shield, and as someone just coming in, I was like, this is great. I love it. And all these other people who are huge Pokemon fans are like, dude, it's fucking garbage. I can't stand it. So I don't really think I should be speaking on it. I step back from it. But from a casual perspective, Shield was a lot of fun and really cool. And I liked it a lot. I always tell people too, I'm very hard on games that aren't super gameplay focused. And my favorite part of Shield was going camping with my Pokemon and feeding them curry.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who just like making sandwiches in Scarlet and Violet, so
yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah. I was petting them and shit. I was like, what the fuck am I even doing right now?
Yeah, and then they like you a lot and they do cool moves.
Yeah, and then Gyarados was like, dude, I want to stunt for my dog, and he hit him harder or whatever. That's how it worked. Oh, man. That's a lot of fun, dude. You got so much coming up. That's why I wanted to bring you on. You're dedicated, you're into it, you're a fucking elite gamer. And this is all elite gaming, baby. We only got the elite ones on here, okay?
It's true, I go crazy.
He goes crazy. I mean, he's beating some of these games. He's playing a different roguelike every time, and he's reaching the end in a singular stream. Who else is doing it like that?
I would not hype it up that much. I've reached the end a few times.
We're hyping it up almost every time.
I get pretty far at least.
We're hyping.
I think how many have I finished? Only probably 2 or 3. I beat Slay the Spire. Not going through all of the ascensions. I got
a standard roguelike finishing counts.
Yeah, standard roguelike finish. Beat the final boss. I got up to the final zone. Dude, I'm not playing Spelunky again. I got to the final zone for Returnal. I got up to, I think, 3 bosses in for Rogue Legacy 2. I got 3 bosses in for Cult of the Lamb. And I think Cult of the Lamb was probably my most successful one. But I'm not too. What is up with the Spelunky fans in your chat, man?
We should talk about Spelunky a little bit. I think that one was a little bit of a sour note in the run.
Spelunky was by far the worst, not the worst game. It was the game I was the worst at because I was playing it on keyboard, and I do not play games with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Spelunky, I spent 5.5 hours getting out of the first level.
First world.
First world.
He went through world 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, got to world 2 and said success.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was
a nightmare.
It was rough. I mean, it's a weird game. I honestly like it. It's not exactly the same, but I do think it's specific enough in its gameplay where you can't really deviate from a set like play style. It's tough to like. It's very precise, I would say.
And Spelunky also has very interesting speedruns.
I wouldn't say interesting. I watched that one after you told me about it. The world record is like 1.5 minutes or something. The guy gets like 2 levels in, goes to the store, steals a jetpack and a teleporter, and then just goes zip, 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 and just teleports to the exit in every subsequent level.
But the interesting part about it is because the worlds are randomly generated, you have to memorize every possible combination of levels that could exist.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like
like
a skillful thing. Like Hades is pretty skillful in the speedrun, where you still have to like kill rooms of enemies with randomized items you're getting.
It's funny because getting mechanically good at Hades is the easy part. Like getting mechanically good at Hades and beating bosses is all about timing and just getting it right. The hard part is things like spawn manipulation, standing in the right place, knowing where to be, knowing what possible combinations are coming up next. Because there are things like free rooms and cost rooms, and there's a little bit of meta to the speedrunning game. That I do think like the memorizing is one of the harder parts of speedrunning roguelikes.
What made you want to get into speedrunning it once you played it?
Oh yeah, so my roommate and I were playing it, and we saw like on YouTube it was the developers for Hades reacting to one of the first Hades speedruns, which was 25 minutes of real time, is maybe like a 10-12 minute speedrun, which by today's standards, not great. It's not a great time. We've nailed it down of in-game time down to under 5 minutes.
Wow, that's insane.
It is very, very crazy. It was the fresh file run, yeah. It was the fresh file run. It was 25 minutes long. The developers were reacting to it, and I loved watching it. It was insane. The coolest part about it was that when they saw that speedrun, because the developers were actively working with the speedrun community, they decided to put in special dialogue for anybody who gets to Hades in their first ever run.
Oh, that's really neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a really cool group of people, developers. I watched like a documentary on their on Bastion when they first made it. It's the same team, I believe. And that was really
Supergiant.
Yeah,
it's incredible games.
Yeah, it was really interesting. They just like making good games. One of the last
they do
groups of people that do.
Yeah, I mean they've made Bastion, Transistor, Hades, obviously, and then they've made a couple more that I'm just blanking on right now.
There's one called Pyre or something.
Pyre, yeah, Pyre. I would say is like not their most popular game.
No.
But Hades 2 is the first ever time they're making a sequel.
Yeah.
And it should be coming into early access sometime this year.
How do you feel about it?
So, I will be I'm saying it here first. I will be one of the first people to have a record up for Hades 2.
Oh wow. Okay. But how do you feel about you're excited about it?
I'm thrilled,
okay.
Dude. I am thrilled. Hades is one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah.
Mechanically, artistically, it has elements of everything.
But you think they're gonna hit it out of the park, James Cameron sequel style, and get an awesome second?
100%.
Interesting.
100%.
Cool.
I have zero doubt in them.
I love this. I just personally, as a sequel person, I'm nervous that they don't that they're going to drop the ball in some way. It's hard to make a sequel.
No. Am I nervous that it'll be dog? Absolutely not. I think that they know what they're doing, and the fact is they put in a lot of time and effort. Hades is built on a custom engine. And so mechanically, minimal expectations. I think it will play the same way that Hades 1 plays, with new weapons, new environments, new gods, and a new story, which you can't fuck up the gameplay. It's already done.
Yeah.
It's been made. The art is already established, and it's just a matter of you're playing through as a completely new character in a new story.
So
and
do you want more of the same as sort of gameplay wise goes, where it's like it's like the same style of gameplay, but you're going through new areas against new enemies, new bosses, maybe a couple twists and turns here, but you want like largely a core gameplay revival for the second one?
I'd be happy
Yeah.
if mechanically they're about the same. I do think that they're going to have drastically different weapons, which I think is great because it really does differentiate the games. I would not want to play through with the same 4 or 5 weapons that we got for Hades 1.
Yeah.
I think that would be a huge missed opportunity.
I agree. But I meant like sort of the way you go through levels. Do you think that needs updating or anything like that? Or you think like level to level, world to world, that could stay? That's one of the things that could just be like upgraded, if anything, or brought over mainly wholesale.
Yeah, I think that the big thing that they're going to do, and this is entirely just speculating, I think that the maps will be more or less structured the same way. I think that they might be a little bit larger and a little bit more complex, and that's what I like. That's what I'd be looking forward to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the roguelike formula, it's hard to fuck up to make a good roguelike. I mean, if you look at games like Binding of Isaac and Moonlighter, same exact structure.
Yeah.
When you're going through dungeons, exactly the same. It's just you're in a square, you have 3 or 4 ways you can go. You move to the next square, you got 3 or 4 ways you can go.
Yeah, it's less about that part of it and how they fill those rooms and that the connecting stuff that makes Hades so good.
Exactly.
I agree. Hades, when I beat it, I couldn't stop playing it. I got all the achievements. It was just like going nonstop. I never do that in a game. I couldn't put it down. And as soon as I was done, I was like, this game is as close to flawless as you can get. It might even be flawless. I hesitate to say that it's flawless because I haven't played in a while, but it is so good. I immediately catapulted. I was like, it's now in my top 5. I think it's like top 5 best games created. I'm talking about like it is so good. Is really up there. So it's hard to 100%. Go, it's especially for that, for me in my mind, like how are they going to do a 2 to this? Is it going to be, can they go even better? If they match it, it's still a top 5 game ever. So that's a tough little thing that they bit off a lot there. So let's see if they can chew it, is all I'm saying.
I think the big thing that they will be improving on is boss fights.
Okay. You have gripes with the boss fights?
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
I think the boss fights were enjoyable. I think they were difficult.
Yeah.
And I think the bosses were unique. But I do think that the boss fights can get... It's almost like a Souls-like boss fight, right? So when you're playing Elden Ring, you memorize their patterns, you go in and you can clap them 100% of the time after you've done it 2 or 3 times. I think that they're going to make it a little bit harder because that's what people value in a game like Hades.
Well, I mean, they do have heats and things like that. They do have harder versions of bosses, so maybe I'm not sure. I mean, you're probably, you know it better than I do, so you're the Hades expert.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but it is. I do think it's going to be. I'm going to tell you right now. I have no concerns. There is not even a tiny little part of my heart that thinks they're going to fuck this up.
Awesome. I love to hear that, dude. You're getting the confidence in me. I agree. And actually, I take that opinion entirely. And I actually said it before you. That they're gonna be perfect. Yeah, they nailed it. So we're jacked up about Hades. I love Hades. Awesome game. So super cool to find that for you. I think that's all she wrote. So just want to give a special shout out to Kev. You can check out his channel. It's in the stream title. I gave him a shout out. I'll give him another shout out. It's Kevisntfine. One word. Kevisntfine. Check him out. We love him. He's doing a lot of great stuff. We love to see these streamers grinding, being awesome at games, and putting in the work to do a ton of cool stuff. They got the Roguelike 30, Hades Tournament, Metal Gear Solid, Metroidvania, Souls Timber, Spooktober, whatever the fuck's going on, dude. We got a lot of shit. We love it, and I love it. You don't see that drive, that desire, that passion, and the incredible gaming skills all at once. So we wanted to highlight an elite gamer, Kevisntfine. Everybody give it up for Kev. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate you.
All right,
I
man.
can plug one last thing.
Yeah, plug away. This is your time.
One last thing. There is one game that I am a patron for that I think everybody should keep their eye on if they like beat 'em up style games and roguelikes. The game is called Immortal and the Death That Follows. It is a roguelike beat 'em up game. It's coming from a small indie company based out in Europe called Mature Games. And it is by far stylistically one of the coolest games I've ever seen in my life. The entire soundtrack is death metal. It's heavily influenced by Hades and anime like Gurren Lagann. And they said that their biggest inspiration for making this game was in the satanic panic of PS2. People were afraid that games were demonic and corrupting the youth. And they said, we wanted to make a game that would be included in that conversation.
I love that. How'd you find out about this?
I just grinding looking for roguelikes to play, man.
Yeah.
I found it because I was crazy off of my Hades fix. I saw what they were doing. I saw a small little gameplay demo that they had for a video, and I knew I had to start throwing money at it as soon as possible. Awesome.
I love to hear it. I love the support you're giving to the games that you love.
They're going into early access this year.
Even better. So check out Immortal and the Death That Follows, everyone, as soon as you can, early access. And check out Kevisntfine. He'll be streaming tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Monstrum. And in the future, more roguelikes, more everything. You guys already know the gist.
More roguelikes, 15 left.
Yeah,
we're only halfway through.
Yeah, a lot of time left for roguelikes. All right, guys, give it up for Kev one more time. And that's going to be it for us tonight. Good night, Austin, Texas, wherever you are.